Unmuting.
All right, we'll call the law enforcement committee meeting at 10 o'clock to order. This meeting and all meetings of the committee have been open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with the Wisconsin statutes so that the citizenry may be aware of time, place, agenda of this meeting. Roll call. We have a quorum. Cindy is missing and Kevin is missing. Approve the agenda.
Kevin moves to approve. Johnson second.
Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Chairman, when it said members present, it doesn't include me, so I thought, well, maybe I missed the meeting, but then I see a couple paragraphs down, I made a motion. And so I must have been here if I could be added to the list of attendees.
I'll make that change.
Thank you.
Any other additions or corrections or need an approval as printed?
Make that motion.
Second,
Johnson second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any public comments? Do not have any. Oh, okay, we don't have to do the old. And we'll go to reviewing the bills. Carl, anything to point out?
Well, everything was pretty much standard as far as, our regular bills. We have no bills.
Okay,
On page 2, 37054 Wynn Street. $602.11.
That is our phones. The phone system. Right.
The phone service provider at the courthouse plus the internal phones at the sheriff's office.
Really, contracts with AT&T is what I understand. Right?
They do. There's another bill for that on page 9, I just see through.
I don't know if you get our county emails. Sometimes we have good days and bad days with Windstream. I don't know what it is about this location. But I mean, it's courthouse us.
probably just me, but I did not find it, the bills posted on my iPad. Maybe
No, we
just-
didn't have it in time to
Okay,
send it out.
all right.
Yep,
Okay,
Tara got it to me at like,
I'm just paranoid. I
Friday.
don't know how to use it, so I
oh,
guess,
yeah,
okay, then I did okay. All right.
I had to get it out, so we left.
No,
it.
that's fine. I just, was looking for it and I did not see it. And I don't have to have my granddaughter come over and explain it. Or Dave, yeah.
If you look at page 5 also, this, Rebellious, that's a new one, wellness for our department and the staff, that's Jordan, yeah. She's providing a service to our officers as far as any, meetings as far as wellness, and it's promoted throughout our department now as far as the usage of this, so that's part of the billing also. Also down, you'll see the dog in there, North Iowa Canine.
Yep.
And that'd be, the 10,000 one out of the canine expense.
We added a dog.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, well, we replaced the Labrador.
Yep.
And he had a shepherd that was probably about that. Reduced to $5,000 it was reduced, so great dog. So So that way we have 2 dogs at nights, 2 dogs
I suppose 15 years old, they reduced it.
at night. 50 or 80.
80, yeah, right.
Point of information? What is confidential funds?
What page?
Same page, 5,
Okay,
says Waupaca County Sheriff confidential fund. $5 million.
Buy money.
Buy money.
I wondered if that's what it was.
Just wondering what the page 13, 4663 for Kelly Lure Jones. Christmas gift, $108.04.
That would have been baskets that we provided for each shift
Oh, okay, well,
for like over Christmas holiday.
that's nice.
Yeah.
on page 13, the Motorola 54,000.
That $54,000 is 9 squad radios, so there's for new squads that were purchased for the year, so equip them with radios.
Okay. Yeah.
Page 14, 47,823. Blue Wing Services, simple service.
Or towers.
Towers.
Okay.
Projects, upcoming, you'll see more with Blue Wing. I believe they're engaged in
No other further questions? I need a motion to approve $428,136.36.
Got to move. Cool.
Second,
Johnson, second.
all in favor, say, but signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. All right. Communication Center news reports and updates.
Don't really have much. The numbers are, I guess, what we'd expect for this time of the year. Things are going well. Do they have anything new?
All right. Directional
But
report.
just one question.
Whoop, whoop, okay.
Those- The 911 calls this time of year are, you said are going to be better than the summertime? To have the phantom calls on it?
Yes, but if you remember back when those calls were high, we were at like 8, almost 900 a month.
Yeah.
They did some software updates with the cell phone companies and that has reduced that number. So it's easier for somebody to cancel it before it actually goes through the system.
Oh, good.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, detective divisions.
I do have one thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
We did have a treadmill that we, got for the staff. It's, built for call centers. So while they're working, they can walk. Tops out, I think, at 3.5 miles an hour. But just a way to get body circulation going, get them out of their chairs. They're in there for 12 hours, so.
That's good.
It's right in between where they can still do all their work. Especially made for that.
That's great.
Very quiet.
And you all just go in there whether it's not being used and also do it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Or is that not mandatory yet?
I mean,
Okay, all right,
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
all right, no, but
I can do about that.
they are a very good tool, that,
I didn't test it. I
Thanks,
didn't
man.
want a viral video going there.
mine don't go that fast. Mine don't go that fast. Okay, yeah. Any other questions for him? Otherwise we'll go to the patrol division.
Corrections.
Oops, okay, well, all right. I had it once.
I'd skip over.
Yeah,
Probably skipped over two.
okay, all right.
Wondering, talk about getting back.
An update from last month, we had those two that started, they're doing really well. That female started also just shortly after that, and she's exceeding. So she should be a short trainee, and then we gave a job offer to one last week that we had an interview on. And I guess something else we have is potentially might be down one here the next couple of months, one might be leaving, so. Yeah. Otherwise, we're getting close to getting full.
Well, it's making news that the prisons are having staff, the state system. So you're doing well to maintain as well as you are, I think, to keep up.
Even with their big pay raises, they're still having problems. Nothing else.
Okay, there, all right. Then we go to detectives, huh? Get it right yet.
So I added some different offenses, just cleared them from last month to this month. We had 1 burglary, 10 thefts, 15 drugs, 11 sex offenses, 1 child abuse, and 8 frauds. Numbers are pretty consistent between both months.
Thank you. Any corrections or questions for him?
Is possession of child pornography, is that considered a sex offense?
So it could fall either as a sex offense or a cyber tip, depending on how it comes in, but yes, it could fall under that category.
All right. Patrol division then.
For the month of January, I think the important numbers to note, in front of you here is the 0 fatalities. We kind of had a bad end of last year's, this is a good start to the year, so we can keep that going. Again, numbers are basically on par with the year ago. Some special notes, we have 2 new hires, Deputy Ben Bigelbach. He came to us with several years' experience from the Fond du Lac County Sheriff's Office. And Deputy Sam Gressel was promoted from Water Patrol to full-time deputy. They're both in their appeal process. You guys briefly talked about it before, but we have Deputy Eric Hamels completed training with his canine. And
Labrador.
Yep, the lab. And then Deputy Brendan Muskie is currently down with dual purpose apprehension and drug training right now. So he should be done by the end of February.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again? Husky's in training?
Yep, he's currently down training right now with his new canine.
Which is the new German Shepherd.
Oh, he's gonna be,
It's a
We didn't tell you that?
Belgian,
We just did.
yeah.
Belgian Malinois.
Appreciate it, right on time.
We were holding it.
So we have 4 dogs.
So this, yep, and it's actually a Belgian Malinois, the one that they're getting right now. Yeah, that will be the fourth canine, so we have one on every ship, which is gonna be a huge asset to the county. So
Awesome.
that is it for the patrol division.
Records division.
Just showing the revenues, we're starting new this year for all the donations. Just wanted to go into a little bit more detail on the wellness aspect. So we are currently forming a program with peer support for the officers, actually the whole department. So we are doing mental wellness checks once a year. Also have a therapist that they can go to if they need to, along with EAP. So that's a good thing because the suicide rate in law enforcement is very high. So we're hoping to diminish that to maybe intrigue other people to apply here because we have it. But we're hitting the ground running on that.
Well, and she specializes in law.
Yes.
Wellness.
A lot
And they're
of,
required once, starting January, 1 hour a year. They're required to meet with this wellness counselor. So, and we're kind of fall in line with a lot of other sheriff's offices, police departments that have been doing it for years.
Good. I think that's important also. All right,
that's all I got.
chief deputies report.
I don't have much, but just to bring you up to date and I'll have, what proposal we take in last year's budget in the capital, it was under the 50,000, it was $31,000 project as far as epoxying of our evidence garage and the Sally Port and the armory area. I was out soliciting, since it comes down to quotes instead of bids, if we're under that threshold. I did receive 3, we're still mulling over costs and quality of the project, and, we did have a visit from one of them last week, and they did come in. We had a lower bid, but, a lower quote. And we're still looking at recommendations and quality before we decide to. I wanna talk to Heidi also, how we go about doing it. It's a little different deal when you're outside of a bid and you're just going by quotes and you wanna get it right. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed since it was on our capital budget or on our regular 2024 budget. That's about it. I don't have really anything else that's moving around these parts. So,
Any questions for him? The sheriff's report.
Okay, first thing I'd like to mention is Captain Rasmussen will be leaving us Friday, it's last day.
That's why I wasn't supposed to be here. This meeting got moved up the last.
Figure I'd stop in anyway.
I'm glad you're here.
Friday is his last day, and of course, then Lieutenant Wasgersian will be the captain, and Patrol Deputy Thorpe will be our new lieutenant.
Very good.
It'll be tough to follow Todd's shoes, but I think
They won't.
Kyle's been.
You got them shoes wore out and they just got set their own track.
Kyle's been mentored by Todd.
What are you gonna do?
Figure it out when it comes.
All right.
Any grandkids you gotta spoil? Well, I can give you a couple.
Too young.
You do have children involved in sports, right?
My son's in college the second year, and my daughter's a senior in high school, which I'll take my time to say, we just came back from state dance and they won, they're undefeated in both their dances all year long and took state, so.
Very well.
Awesome.
Very nice. Did you dance at all? Saturday night. Yeah, not really.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, no, 2 years in a row, parents have to do a dance. for the girls.
Oh.
Not pretty, and I'm sure it's on me. Yeah.
Who are you too?
Yeah, you wouldn't type in Todd, you type in the worst. So I'm gonna jump right to the courtroom security update. you don't mind?
Go ahead.
I know Kevin was kind of the wheel behind him, wanted to know how we would lay this out. Is this something you want to wait? Till Kevin's here, or do you want to give you an overview? We'll give you an overview.
Yeah, we'd like to see something.
Yeah, we're here.
Courtroom security. We've been. Prior sheriff also was real concerned with security. And I know a lot of county board members, they go to the courtroom security updates, come back and go, we gotta get some places. It kind of falls apart. Didn't know we did have a courtroom security, COVID and that kind of stuff. So if you look at the third page, you see other counties around us. There are other counties that we could have included, but around us. Short of Shawano, everyone else has courtroom security. It's listed how many officers they have, what they're there for. Andy put this together and it's very comprehensive. So then the first sheet, well, Kevin kind of asked me how many officers it would take. We have, Andy also put together this nice looking schedule. 4 deputies on top, how it would roll, 75. And then it would have to be rotating officers in and out, but. And then the one below that, of course, is with 5 officers. The top one, and don't get me wrong, we could probably throw in part-timers there, but again, part-timers come and go. So unfortunately, like Oda Gaming, I think has 16 staffing. Look,
16 part-time.
yeah. And they're having a tough time getting part-timers as well. So we would have to go with the 4 deputy or the 5 deputy, and that would be your ultimate goal. Okay, I know we're having this redo of the courtroom. I don't know how far that's in the process. We have 1 point of entry. And they want to use artificial intelligence to see if someone has a weapon of any kind. I think having actual people there to check is the most important thing. So we could start off small, 1, 2 patrol deputies. Ultimately, we'd want to get for this guy. Andy, why don't you go ahead and just throw a little bit on there.
So as you look at the schedule, we have to accommodate for vacation time, for the potential for sick calls. So if we want to have 4 in the building at all times to have screening, we need 5 to be able to make sure that we can cover the vacation times, have scheduled days off, and cover the entire hours that the courthouse is open. So if the courthouse is open, we want boots on the ground in the courthouse. The most efficient way to do that is to have that coverage from the time the door opens to the time that the door is locked, which is where we come up with the 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. base hours. Each one would have a day off throughout the week so that they're still within a 40-hour pay period or 40-hour week, 80-hour pay period. So that would give us full coverage from the time the door is open till the time the door is closed. The 5, we can do full screening. If we had 4, we could do periodic screening with supplementing with part-time. And then the general consensus with the other counties surrounding, you can see that in general, most of those have anywhere from 4 to 6 for staffing level. You always want to make sure you have 2 people at that screening station at all times, so that you can have 1 person that's doing the screening, and then those that are prepared for it can walk through the detector and pass through, carry about their business without having a long line of waiting delays. So we want to provide the best service possible while maintaining the utmost security. Staffing.
Would this involve changing the entrance then, so they can only come in a certain way? So they can go through the screening, or how is, or
The
hasn't
best
that
point
been?
would always be a single point of entry. You could
Yeah.
have multiple people.
Well, no, yeah. So has that been brought up to the court remodeling
Yes.
situation?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And
no,
that's
I'm
where they
just-
had their artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Where they would walk through that single point. Apparently it could detect a weapon.
Yeah.
You could then lock them in there. Then we get a deal with them.
Okay.
So with this plan, we would basically revert to the days of the front door screening, metal detectors, the wanding, and the bag searches. You guys have probably all seen that in the past.
Yeah.
That would be the initial of this plan. Obviously, if we're able to do that, moving forward with that remodel would be a great improvement. So,
We would work together, and Carl, you were just in that meeting. This last one, right?
Yeah.
Talked about it, but you can take, for example, with Sheriff County. They use their officers also. They're not working patrol. We would want this to be strictly courtroom security. Pay grade would be different than patrol. They wouldn't be, other than being certified, they wouldn't be. Couldn't yank them out and put them on the road. So we have one area of concern, and that's where they would stay, which is kind of important. Because you don't want to start pulling officers off because you're short on the road, and now the courtroom is left unsecured. So cost is always an issue.
It is, and can I just say, I go to all these courthouses, Appleton, Oshkosh yesterday. I appreciate Shawano and Waupaca not doing that. It's really nice. It's so much friendlier and welcoming when you can walk in, and I think, okay, I get it kind of Oshkosh, Appleton. I go to Washera and Portage, you kind of go, really? I mean, it's almost,
Have you gone to Green Lake on?
yeah, I go to Green Lake.
You got a nice setup there too.
They do.
I mean, it's.
I like that older gentleman too. I was in Green Lake last week. But I'll just say, I'm not, I don't like it, just because it's not very fun. And I just keep thinking, all the money they spend on staff, first building it, then staffing it, and how much is the danger in it? It reminds me of when a 9/11, when Allegheny County shut their courthouse. You kind of go, really? I mean, you're kind of you're kind of exploding your self-concept to say, oh, I think the terrorists are gonna come here next after the towers, and you kind of, no, Appleton, they're not coming here. And it's sort of like, how much danger is there really, someone sneaking in? If you wanna shoot somebody, they'll shoot you in the parking lot anyway, I don't know. I mean, I just don't, I think it's a solution to a problem that isn't very significant. You haven't had issues with weaponry and stuff
I
that we
mean, we
know
haven't
of.
kept track of them, but we run over there enough times.
absolutely. And that's one of the things is that this is more of being prepared,
Yeah,
right? Being prepared for that. We hope that nobody ever comes into school. with People, that happens also. That's where the thing is, where do you draw that line in the sand? Where do
I
you draw
know,
that?
I get it.
And this is, we've learned over the years that courthouses are the second most likely incident that happen. So you have people that are in court, people that are maybe losing family members on the second floor with DHS, getting kids taken away. It's a high stress, high volatile setting in that building. I mean, that's just the truth behind it.
Wisconsin Bar Association did a nice article on it.
I'd like to see that.
Has there been any costs affiliated with what this is gonna cost?
Well, it'd be about 100,000 a deputy. All the bullets.
And 5 deputies.
Well, now remember, Tom, we can start smaller and work our way up. This is what we ultimately would like. But right now, what we got set up, we did it on our own. So Captain Rasmussen came up with the idea and we implemented it, so. But what happens when you need us, Tom?
Yeah.
Then you're gonna be wondering why we didn't have it.
Evidently, you weren't, you weren't on the ball when I took chairman of Waupaca County. Within the first 6 months, we had 2 bomb scares.
Yeah.
I don't think cost is, it's a factor, but I don't think we should be thinking about security just for the price of security. I mean, yes, I mean, we gotta know what it's gonna cost and how much and where, but, I think security is the item we want to make sure do we want it or don't want it? You know, like Tom said, you gotta have, if you're gonna have it, you're gonna have it. Cost is gonna be whatever and how far you go, but and we just, somebody's gonna make the point though, okay, where are we going?
I was just gonna say, 30, 40 years around being around courtrooms, really didn't think much of it, and then traveling around the United States, you know, working on cases. Every level of security is different, until the big awakening was when the state Supreme Court came here. And we had the marshal, and some of the inadequacies you don't even recognize till she was going through our building and everything. That was an eye opener. Well, and Phil Kurt too caught me once, and he says, I hope you guys are still looking into security. So it kind of sticks in our head when, you know, you have people and, well, then fear of judges, but you know, that was off-site, you know, but sometimes it's a scary thought, what could happen over there. You know, that's what I look at, really.
There was just a very prime example on the news. Was it last month? I believe down in Florida, there was a family court action going on where basically the judge got assaulted on the bench.
Yeah.
So,
And the lawyers have gotten assaulted.
I know that.
Courtroom in Green Bay not too long ago.
so that's just the way that this world is going.
It is getting worse.
I mean, if they have conferences for courtroom security, you know it's an issue nationwide.
No,
So,
I know it is. I'm just saying. Personally, I love going into the courthouse where they don't make a big deal of it.
okay, well, we appreciate that. So we're up to date. Is anything else on this?
Anybody else got any questions, comments? Gentlemen in the audience, put your 2 cents in there, it's your department, Rick, you know, I realize you.
Just, you know, when you look at safety, you can't put a price tag on it. You know, I've seen it on the fire side more than I've seen it on the police side, law enforcement, but it's the same thing. You know, I mean, what do you put a price tag on? Safety, personal safety, people safety. And that's our business. Our business is to keep people safe. And with the day and age that we're all in, we've all seen it. You know, you can't hardly turn on the TV and not see problems going on in this country. But that's what it takes to keep our citizens and staff safe. You know, it's a cost to do business, and that's what we gotta do. We just outfitted the whole sheriff's department with personal cameras and cameras on the squad cars to keep the county safe, personnel safe. You know, it's the same thing. I look at this as being the same thing. It's the next step, next level to keep safety in the county, the courthouse.
Dick?
I always thought we should have better security at the courthouse. And I never realized how much it was going to be. The trouble is, we're not a private entity. We can raise the product price. Problem is, where's the money coming from? And I know how much is safety worth. It should be worth a lot, but where do we get the dollars from? We just can't simply raise the taxes because the state has a limit on us. That's always a big worry for a person like me, is the money part. And where do we get the funds to cover this? I'm not against it. I'm just saying that's my concern.
And staffing.
Yeah. In how, okay, so, I mean, we got 400 people going, I don't know how many people go in the courthouse in one, you know, per shift, you know, how fast can you get them in there? So do they have to come a half an hour early to get through the
Well,
doors, or?
That's with that optimal plan is getting as much people at that front door as possible to keep that flow moving.
Right.
You know, and that's something that we also talked about in that redesign process of making them so that's not keeping people from coming into the building.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
so again, if you put one person at the door, that's part of the struggle behind it. It's just gonna slow down the line. You're gonna have a line waiting inside, waiting to come in.
Yeah.
So that's where, again, that optimal plan is the best thing that we could possibly come up with to keep everything as similar, as close to normal as possible. You know, and that's, like Sheriff Will said, anything's better than nothing. At the same time, it's one of those things, if, obviously you guys, you experience it going into a courtroom, you may have to wait in line. That's our goal, let's keep that to a minimum. You know, so it's where is that line in the sand?
And all the workers would have to come through the front doors, not through the back side.
There are
doors and
certain,
such.
there are certain exceptions that we would have to follow, which is also something that we're learning at this courthouse redesign. But it's basically a single point of entry, so you can't have somebody walk out a side door and let some nefarious actor in a side door. And so it's one of those things where it's kind of getting back to the days of when we did this, the security, the metal detectors and lots. So one point of entry, and again, more staff in there to keep that line moving, to keep people coming in the building.
So do we need any more? This is just a discussion today and bring it up next month again? Yeah. Put it on the agenda. Okay.
Have we looked at funding, how we could come up with ways to fund this? Have we looked at anything other than just, you're talking about $100,000 is kind of a
Each
general.
one, that's
Times
half a
four.
million dollars.
Yeah.
Half $1,000,000.
Okay.
Have you gone?
So, from my research on grants, there's not a whole lot of funding for this. It's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
gonna be up to everybody here also to show the importance, if this is what you guys want, to also push for funding. So,
I don't know how Washira County did it, but they just came up with 13,000 people.
Yeah.
Have you gone to other places and checked how they do it? I mean, just
So-
for background.
a lot of that information's on that packet already, but that is part of the plan, is to moving forward to see, Andy's talked to a lot of people, what works, what's not working so well.
Right.
He's got a couple comments of, well, when you figure it out, please let us know so you can.
Yeah, well, no, I mean,
Counties
you can
struggle.
go other places and see how they do it
Absolutely.
and see what works, like I said, and then apply it to our situation.
And a big part of this is with that proposed remodel, working as a team to come together with the best possible solution, you know, and Sheriff talked about that safe room. Now, if you have somebody come into that room and they're locked in there, what do you do then? You're still gonna have people over there. So again, moving forward, I think this is something that's gonna have to happen if that remodel happens in some form or fashion.
Now, Portage County, they don't secure the courthouse, it's just the courtrooms.
Correct.
Yeah, anybody can walk in the courthouse, but you don't get, you go up to that second floor and you don't get to the courtroom.
Or you
So
don't
go
get to, like, child support, you don't get to any of those other offices up there. So, but you walk right through the city, because the city's below.
Right, yeah.
There's not one single plan, there's not one simple answer. It's what's wanted and what we can do with what we have.
Right.
The consistent recommendation from each of these counties when I talked to their court security coordinator was single point entry. That was critical. Multiple people at screening points so that you can have one that's responsible to screen it, one that's responsible to go through any baggage, keep that line moving. And have your staffing level high enough so that you have sufficient manpower and staffing to deal with your peak times, so that you can keep people moving, but you're not sacrificing the integrity of the checks that you're doing at the door. You're gonna do it right with the proper number of people to get it done in an efficient manner.
So then single exit too, right? Because you
Ideally,
can't go
single
out,
exit, go
can't go out
the
another
same
door.
You still have to keep those, obviously the fire escapes, all those things.
Yeah. Available.
Prepared, correct.
That's what I mean, you got it, yeah.
But yeah, it's, again, you could have somebody go to a side door without setting off an alarm and a various actor in there, so that's where, again, it's kind of.
Well,
And
if I go out the door and somebody's standing there and says, Lee, thanks for holding the door, and then I come, our security is
Yeah.
null and void, so you have to,
so,
it makes it very difficult to have an exit
That's not gonna make some people at the courthouse happy. Obviously, like you said, you prefer coming to the places where you
Yeah.
actually deal with that, but.
What about the basement? You could. From the sheriff's department, you can't, you guys can't.
Correct, that's a secured entrance.
Okay, so the public couldn't go into the sheriff's department, go down to the basement and get over.
Just the way that works, right?
Your Honor, what do you mean you're not coming here anymore?
Okay.
But if you let me out on Huber,
Just to throw another thing out there, can we try it, see how our staff, try it for a week, see how the staff reacts to it. I mean, once you get, I don't know how many people go in there,
So
400?
obviously, this is from previous experience though too, is with I don't wanna say everybody, most county employees have seen this already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just recently saw it with the Justice on Wheels program. So it's one of those things where it's gonna be a learning curve for everyday's employees where, hey, you can't bring this to work anymore. Let's make this simple, just like you're getting on an airplane. There's certain things you can't take on an airplane.
Yep.
Can't bring guns or weapons in a courthouse by statute. So
Yep.
it's gonna take some learning to make that enforceable.
Right.
So we would also need a screener. Yeah, just like you do at the airport, because you wouldn't want to get on an airline, would you, Tom, without being.
oh, sure, I'm ready to.
The guy screened next to
I can rest comfortably in the arms of the risen Savior. I'm ready.
The initial stages are always gonna be a learning curve for the people that are coming into the building.
Yeah.
But everybody adapts to it. Right. Communication ahead of time. This is when we're gonna implement this. These are the expectations when you come into the building. You're not gonna be bringing in guns, bazookas, hand grenades, machetes, edge weapons. Leave that stuff at home.
I want my
where it
fingernail
belongs,
clippers.
locked in your
No
car,
weapons.
secure. And a couple times somebody having to take something back to the car, they're probably gonna quit bringing that same thing in over and over again. Portage County says they get to that screening point on their courthouse floor, got a pocket knife, well, either you can take it back into your car, or here's a trash bin. You don't retain the property for those people. Provide adequate notice.
Yep.
This is what you need to do if you're gonna come in and do business in this building. This is the expectation. We're here to keep this place safe. We appreciate your compliance.
If I may, I mean, and Todd can attest to some of this. When this was pushed back with Sheriff Hardell back in the day, the need is there, and comes down to when we show you what we can possibly provide, there's a lot of pushback.
Oh.
And then it goes back to this again, and then we're recycling it, we're going through it again. Ultimately, we're gonna give you the best service possible, whatever we can give you, what's presented to us. But ultimately, you guys gotta decide if it's wanted or not. And that's where it starts. I mean, it seems like it's thought that it's wanted, but then when it comes back to what's actually we can provide and give to you guys, then it's with the hands back on everything. So how do we get to this point?
I was gonna say, the question is, can we do this, or do we have to have the full board do that, Mr. Chairman?
Well, it starts here and it starts at many level, of course. Start finance and on and on, so.
Right.
But
In the long run, does it have to go be approved by the full board, or can,
Ultimately,
I would think so.
Yeah, so-
okay, all right, okay,
It comes from a recommendation from the
Right.
committee.
committee, okay.
but if it doesn't meet recommendations level, then it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I can't go right from here to county board.
well, no,
No.
no, I just wanna make sure that we are going in the right direction and what steps we gotta take.
Oh, we have to remember, county government's committee driven.
Yep.
Committees come up with a decision and pass it on to the county board for approval.
Okay,
So,
all right.
but I do, have a question, a money question again. I'm for this, but show me the money. Like Dad says on TV, I get upset, but, how, you're saying $500,000
That's
just for the men?
That's for ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's for the 5 officers on.
okay, that's the ultimate, that's a Cadillac plan. So we wanna go into a Volkswagen plan.
It'll be 100,000 per person.
Well,
So
you
that's-
said
that's-
less people then.
And that's why we kind of split up those two different plans
Sure.
right there. So it's all, again, if you guys, if front door security is wanted, like, that's how we can guarantee it. If we start cutting people back, it's just we're gonna start taking back some of the things that would implement 100% safety of the building.
Well, let's say we can get 4 to 6 part-time officers that wanna come back.
Correct.
$25 an hour. Now it's a gift,
When you retire, you would wanna do it.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Todd definitely wants to.
Oh, good.
Yes,
The
we just
excitement.
jumped right out of his chair.
There's definitely different options.
Doesn't have to be an
Yeah.
officer
No,
in here. though.
Well,
You know, that is the optimal plan is that blue one at the bottom, make sure that it's staffed 100% of the time. So that you have the security that's again, if you're, in my viewpoint, if we're gonna do it, we gotta make sure we do it right.
What is a scanner gonna cost us?
What was that?
A scanner you said we need.
We have a metal detector right now. We have
Metal.
two hand wands,
But we're gonna need something to scan the bag.
bags. That wouldn't be an immediate need. If we could make something work, but again, that would be the optimal plan.
Yeah.
For that end of it. And again, you look at now working into that remodel. I haven't been involved in the whole process, but my understanding is that's a massive plan. I think that'd probably be something where it's probably gonna be included in that, I'm not sure. But to work those things in beforehand would be, again, the optimal plan, sure. So,
Personally, I'd rather see a real live deputy up on the 3rd floor. You know, a person, you know.
and that's also, like I said, included with these programs, is you're gonna have a couple people at the door, you're gonna have people roaming the floors, you know, and you're still gonna have to have transport there to do
Yeah.
custody, you know, I mean, it's not can't solve all with this plan, but it's supplementing with, again, with transport, everything else to that. So this plan is for courthouse security,
Right.
so.
Any other comments? We'll keep going on the sheriff's report and just keep bringing this up.
I just wanted to bring up that the body cams are working well. Also, really appreciate that. Thanks, Tom, for bringing that up.
Can I get on camera sometime?
You are right now.
Probably already are. What's the best time, Tom? to get on camera? Is it 6 o'clock?
Right, yeah.
Other than that, I really have.
Medical examiner.
For January, we had 55 natural deaths, 1 accident. 2 suicides for a total of 58. 47 of them were cremation. That's it.
Are there any questions for her? All right,
A question that
okay.
don't think I do have a report. Why do I have power easement power and access easement?
That's the next item, next agenda.
It's next on the.
Well, I found the London here, I thought, okay.
We'll go to approval of an easement, that's the next on the
Yes.
agenda.
I know I'm not as good of an explainer as Andy Carlin, but, what this is, power easement agreement with the city of New London with us. If you, go to the pages where we need a grant each time. Big Kevin. This is for the Riverside Park, you know, by, on the west end of the city, New London, up on that hill, that's where this is going to go. So what we need is approval from our side of it, the county, and there's a secondary agreement with the city of New London. So that is what we're asking for, is to grant the easement to that power in the city of New London.
Tap on the back.
And when I looked at it right, it says it's gonna cost us $1.
Yes.
Basically, there's no fees or expenses, it's just that, so
See, because here's would
to
be,
get there, you have to have a road.
Yes, we have to have a legal easement
Yeah.
to get to the tower or maintenance and one for the
Placement, yeah.
Yeah.
easement to service on it. That's actually by the sewer treatment plant, I believe.
Yes.
Where they used
The
to
hill.
haul sled down there.
So it's a city of New London, you said?
Yes.
Eastman.
Be kind of by the bait shop and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
across the road, yeah, on the hill,
So-
Flat Hill there.
That tower will be beneficial where it will be high enough to talk to all the other towers. Right now, the current one is just a little bit short. Yeah. It's on the water tower,
Oh,
can't get any higher.
How tall is this tower?
Well, I think we at first wanted 300 feet. So it might be reduced a little bit, which is fine yet, according to
Yeah.
Andy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, I guess it's only, as long as it's meets all the requirements that you need.
Yeah, it's a high point in the county. Man-made as well.
'Cause I know on the other towers that they have to be, if you tip them over, they have to be on your own property, so.
Yeah, and this falls well into the space that's coming.
So if this gets approved here, does this go to zoning or has it been through zoning?
It gets moved on, yeah.
It moved on to the city and. Okay, I don't even know. County zoning's involved, I think it's a city.
London zone? Okay.
We need a motion to approve this.
Johnson, so move.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. The next item is county security week. Done with that. Yeah. Any supervisors reports? Questions? I mentioned that it's not on our agenda, but the courthouse remodeling project, I don't, as the sheriff, we don't have anything on our side of the building, I don't believe. We talked about in our committee in the past about extending the building. I don't believe it's been talked about. I'm not on that committee, so I don't know, but the Sally Port. So I would think if we're gonna spend a lot of money on rebuilding the courthouse and the building, that should be also brought forward. So
Well,
maybe I'm sticking my nose in where it don't belong again, but I think it's important that if we're remodeling or building, so, does anybody know?
Yeah, I know that was actually discussed at the plan, at that committee meeting.
For judges and DAs.
Correct, it was brought up,
Enclosure.
But not that, no.
that was involved in it.
It would be the, right now, where the delivery areas.
Yep, but that was involved in it also in that Sally Port.
It was in there?
That was brought up in that same plan, and I think you have to, excuse me, the firm, that was dealing with it was gonna look into that more and involving that. To do like 200 type thing.
Okay.
So,
Well, I just happened to, my brain all of a sudden, the last couple of days thought of that and I thought, well, we're tearing this building apart, this side should also get the.
that just came up at the last one, which was.
Just being in the meetings, it became quite complicated.
Yeah.
The amount of.
They got a lot of
planning that goes into.
A lot of moving parts in that.
Yeah, I don't know, I remember on this meeting, we were talking about the Sally Port and I said, I'm not on that committee, but I said, has it been brought up? So, okay, but then who's ever on that committee, keep mentioning, because I think it's important, as long as we're tearing the building apart.
They've just recently added us.
Okay, all right.
Great.
Yep.
On behalf of Waupaca County and County Board Chair, I want to thank Todd for his many years of faithful service. It's been a joy to work with. and they're real professional always. And, thanks much for your many years of service.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I'll second that. I think it's awesome. No. Anybody else got anything? We're ready to adjourn. Someone's got a square butt already from being here from 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock this morning, so we better get them so they get moving. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. I hope I don't have to make it longer than normal.
Thank you, Carl, for the note, individualized notice.
We really needed you here. Missed you.